70,000 companies have registered in Dubai in 2025 alone. That's right, 70,000 companies. So it looks like all roads lead to Dubai. What we understand and from where we support companies, company setup happens in many different ways. There is international companies setting up offices here. There is startups getting registered and building a business here. There are local companies diversifying and creating new ventures. There are companies also that are acquiring small businesses and or merging with small businesses and setting up their presence here. So there are many different ways of how to set up a business in the UAE. So before we get into that case study, we're hosting webinars to help companies understand how to set up in the UAE from an HR lens. And I invite you to fill up your details in the form in the description so we can stay in touch and share more details about the webinar. Now let's go back into the case study. So this case study that we've picked up to talk today about is from the oil and gas industry, where a company, let's call this company OG, and this company was looking to acquire a division of a large company which they were looking to divest. So that large company was looking to divest a small division, and this company was looking to find a way to, scale their business and start supporting clients that they had in mind. So that was the scenario that was presented to us. And along with this option came a team of people that they also wanted to have as part of the acquisition. And to help them transition this team from this large organization to this new organization of Company OG, we are going to talk about that transition in today's case study. So how did we do that? I think when you look at this situation, there's a little background I'd share with you about this team. This team has worked together for more than 8 to 9 years with this large company. They were the ones that made this division a success. They're the ones who have the relationship, the institutional knowledge. So it was very critical for Company OG to retain the team and bring them across. And that is where they look for the guidance and help of S&K. And what we realized is there is a few ways to approach it, and a few things need to be done, some in parallel, some in sequential ways. So for this, we set up a transition plan. And this transition plan were divided into phases, had a few milestones associated with them so that we could bring this team on a journey from where they are now to the new Company OG in a seamless manner so that they felt like they were managed throughout this process. And for that, we started with phase 0. And phase 0 was where we took the time to understand what the current setup was in terms of their current packages, their terms and conditions, even spend time individually with employees to understand their pain points so we could pull a plan for them almost individually, because that's how critical each of those members of the staff were. Our aim over there was to make sure that we had 100% retention. And for that, we felt this sort of approach ensured that. So once we had sorted out phase 0, we very quickly also had to look at managing Company OG's new HR framework so that when these employees were onboarded, they were supported with the proper HR framework. So in parallel, we started setting up the HR framework, and that included developing contracts, developing policies, handbook, and all the other myriad of forms, letters, templates that were needed, and including a full payroll setup as well. And because we're in Dubai, not only do we have to have that HR framework, we also need to support the sponsorship aspects of things. So these employees had visas, had families that they were sponsoring, and we needed to make sure that all of those things were not disrupted during this transition. So it took to the point of where we had to understand who's going on leave, which family member was in town, which family member was arriving late. So yes, it went into those sort of brass tacks for us to make sure that this happened seamlessly for them. And then on this side, we made sure that we were ready to sponsor the employees and support them throughout the process. Can I say that this was seamless? Yes, in a way, from an employee's experience point of view, but we were juggling a lot of different things to make this happen for them. We helped them in many ways, right? Not just by one-to-one conversations. We even gave them welcome packs to make them feel like they are coming into an established organization, because they were leaving a very large support framework and coming into a brand new company that was, owned by a couple of investors. So all sorts of assurances were needed to make them comfortable. So that was done. On this side, when they finally transitioned from their old company to company OG, we had a great orientation process, we had an onboarding process and an onboarding program. So they felt that we've come to actually a better place, that where they are more looked after and they had a better employee experience. And throughout this process, we had to also make sure that the unique setup of this organization was managed. And the uniqueness is not everybody was based in Dubai. There were people that were out there in the field doing work. There were people, traveling to other locations for business development. So all of these sort of nuances is what we had to manage. And we did that over a 3-month period where every member of staff, with their families, with the field, with the rotations, were successfully transitioned, onboarded, and had managed to acquire all the clients that they were, managing and supporting in the old organization. So that was almost 5 years ago. And cut to where they are now a company OG, but not just set up in Dubai. They have presence in Saudi, presence in Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and we were there to manage all these different setups for them. So the lessons on these things is, when you are looking to acquire a company in the UAE, there are many different things that you have to consider, because a majority of the employees are foreign residents, so they have sponsorship and employment to manage. The other thing is, it's not everybody is based locally. There are different operations that you have to consider, while there is an HR impact for it. And the last thing, the feedback that we got from the owners of company OG was that onboarding, like welcoming them into a new organization with an established HR framework, made the learning curve and the operational setup a lot easier. So we're going to be tackling case studies every month. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss the next case study. See you in the next video.